Wednesday, and it's Melrose Mountain, as you can tell by the knotty pine behind me. Last night I had the privilege of speaking to about 100 people in a pastors and deacons dinner and training session for the Polk Association in North Carolina. It was quite interesting because as a deacon of almost 15 years myself, and as someone that was out in the business world, and as somebody that served as a pastor for so many years, I could relate to everybody that was there, except perhaps the females. And it reminded me of scripture from 1 Corinthians chapter 9. You see, in 1 Corinthians chapter 9, Paul writes, he says, "For though I am free from all men, I have made myself a slave to all, so that I may win more. To Jews I have become a Jew, so that I might win Jews. To those that are under the law, as under the law through not being myself under the law, so that I might win some that are under the law. And to those that are without the law, as without the law, though not being without the law of God, but under the law of Christ, so that I might win those that are without the law. To the weak I became weak, that I might win the weak. I have become all things to all men, so that I may be by all means saving some. I do all things for the sake of the gospel, so that I might become a fellow partaker of it." God's timing is so very interesting, isn't it? I received an email from a good Christian friend who has the talent of a great voice and singing, and he shared with me that he, there in a Masons meeting, called upon to sing, gave testimony of God's plan in his life. At the same time, I was writing back to a lady that I knew when I was just a young boy, who was a devout Roman Catholic, and her family were devout Roman Catholics. But now she is a part of the Tea Party and has come to, I believe, a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, realizes the importance of Christianity, especially in our society today, and was able to share with her that although she was Catholic and I was Baptist, that made no difference as long as we had a personal relationship with Christ. And then last night, speaking to pastors and deacons wives, I had a chance to become all things to all people. Isn't it interesting how God can use, if we'll just realize that there are no barriers between us and Christ? We can become Jews for Jews. We can become Gentiles for Gentiles. We become Catholics for Catholics. We can be Masons for Masons, all for the purpose of winning some, so that we might encourage one another and that we might win some that don't perhaps have a personal relationship with Christ, so that they do. And Paul sums it up very nicely in verse 23 when he says, "I do all things for the sake of the gospel." And that's exactly what I did last night. I took time from my retirement, if you will, for the redirection that I so much wanted, so that I might become a fellow partaker of the gospel and that I might share it with others. And hopefully those deacons and those pastors will take back some of the things that I shared and use them to glorify God. Becoming all things for all men. You can do it too. You can relate to anyone, and you can do it through Christ. And you don't have to compromise your gospel. You don't have to compromise your beliefs. But you can become all things to all men so that you might win some and that you might have an influence for Christ's sake and for the glorification of God. I hope that you enjoy the video today of the leaves turning and some of the still pictures that Lois took. God bless you and have a great day. Well, the leaves are not at their peak, but there's the driveway, and you can see my car hidden in the trees, and you can see the color starting to come on to the leaves. We have yellows and reds. Again, they're not at their peak yet. We're at a little bit lower elevation than Asheville and Grandfather Mountain and some of those places, and I'm panning towards the lake. Hope I'm not panning too fast. It's been a while since I used this video camera. There's the lake out there, the beach, and I'm panning down. I'm out on our deck, and you can see the lake. You can see the beach off to the left there, And you can see the beautiful trees across the lake. And again, they're not turned completely yet, but they're coming into fall colors. Panning a little bit more towards the other side of the lake, and you can see some of the yellows and reds over there. Now I'm panning towards the screened in section of our deck. 20 feet of it is screened in and 20 feet of it is open. The 20 feet that's screened in is for Jasmine. She can go out there and not be afraid of animals and not fall off the deck. It's about 20 feet down, so she would have quite a fall. You can see even the colors through the screen over there as you look out towards the other side of our property. Let me just pan back and then move in to catch some of the colors across the lake. Let me just see if I can telephoto in a little bit and get you some of the colors across the lake. I hope I didn't get you sick panning in. As you can see, the colors are starting to reflect down into the lake. And we have some yellows and some reds. And it's a rainy, overcast day, but it's beautiful with the colors. So you can't have everything. Tomorrow should be better than today. But hope that gives you an idea of what's happening with the leaves up here.